Another idea to resolve the information paradox is firewalls, proposed by Ameri, Maroff, Polchinski, and Sully, AMPS. This is a more drastic scenario arising from analyzing the entanglement requirements of Hawking radiation to preserve unitarity and avoid information loss. They argued that the entanglement structure requires the event horizon not to be the smooth, unremarkable place predicted by general relativity, the equivalence principle. Instead, it must be a highly energetic region, a, quote, firewall that incinerates anything attempting to cross it. Okay, so yeah, that's a nice solution. Just destroy everything that crosses this. Do you find this at all a convincing resolution to the information
I would
paradox?
say the firewall papers were fascinating and were very provocative and very important in making progress. I don't even think the authors of those papers thought firewalls were real. I think they were saying, look, we've been brushing too much under the rug. And if you look at the evaporation process, it's even worse than what you thought previously. It's so bad that I can't get away with some of these prior solutions that I thought I could get away with. There was a kind of duality idea or a complementarity idea that, oh, well, maybe one person thinks they fell in, one person thinks they never fell in, and that's okay. No big deal. They sort of exposed flaws in these kind of approaches, and it actually reinvigorated the campaign to find a solution. So it stopped it from stalling. I don't think anyone really believes that at the event horizon, you'll find a firewall. But it did lead to things like the entangled wormholes embroidering a black hole, which was born out of an attempt to address the concerns that AMPS raised. So it did lead to progress.
So for you, the resolution would...
I'm going back to the vacuum,
you go back
the
to
empty
vacuum.
space, the beautiful event horizon.
Yep.
I'll give up locality, meaning that I will allow things to be connected non-locally by a wormhole.
So that is the weirdest thing you're willing to allow for, which is arbitrary distance connection of particles through a wormhole. But quantum mechanics must be preserved.
I'll entertain pretty weird things, but I think that's the one that sounds promising. The implications are so dramatic because this is why you start to hear things like, wait a minute, if the event horizon only exists when it's sewn out of these quantum threads, does that mean that gravity is fundamentally quantum mechanics? Not that gravity and quantum mechanics get along and I have a quantum gravity theory and I now know how to quantize gravity. Actually, something much more dramatic. Gravity is just kind of emerging from this quantum description, that gravity isn't fundamental. And what is the only thing that we have when we go rock bottom, when we go deeper and deeper, smaller and smaller, is quantum mechanics. So all of this, like space-time looks nice and smooth and continuous, but if I look at the quantum realm, I'll see everything sewn together out of quantum threads. And that space-time is not a smooth continuum all the way down. Now, people already thought that, but they thought it kind of came in chunks of space-time. Instead, maybe it's just quantum mechanics all the way down.
Quantum threads, so these entangled particles connected by wormholes.
Yeah.
So that's how would you even visualize a black hole in that way? So it's all, it's all sort of from our perspective in terms of detecting things, the light going in, it's all still the same. But when you zoom in a lot,
to the quantum mechanical scale at which you're seeing the Hawking radiation, you would be noticing that there's some entanglement between the radiation that I could not explain before and the interior of the black hole. So it's now no longer a perfectly thermal spectrum with no features that only depends on the mass. It actually has a way to have an imprint of the information interior to the black hole in the particles that escape. And so now, in principle, I could sit there for a very long time. It might take longer than the age of the universe and collect all the Hawking radiation and see that it actually had details in it that are going to explain to me what was interior to the black hole, so the information is no longer lost.
So information is not being destroyed. So in theory, you should be able to get information.
Now, I can't do that any more than I can recover the words on that piece of paper once it's been burnt. But that's a practical limitation, not a fundamental one. It's just too hard. But when I burn a piece of paper, technically the information is all there somewhere. It's in the smoke, it's in the currents, it's in the molecules, it's in the ink molecules. But in principle, if I took the age of the universe, I could probably I should be able to, in principle, reconstruct the piece of paper and all the words on it.